Welcome into another episode of the Calcio Connection podcast. We are connecting with you, Italian football fans from all over the world. This might be the most impromptu episode we've ever done. We just decided we wanted to stream. We reached out to our good friend Mario Gagliano from Inter Worldwide. He's rocking the Ericsson FC handle there, which is pretty appropriate, man. And I'm hoping that however Chris is doing right now, that he's getting better and that his family is happy and healthy and all that good stuff. Of course, Jerry Mancini is with us, my co-host. I am Alex Donno. You know, Jerry, we were bantering a couple of days ago. Unfortunately for me, this story seemed to have gone nowhere fast, but I was bantering you a little bit when there were Azzurri links to Inter, but that maybe it's not completely dead, but it's fizzled out quite a bit, man. How are you?
Oh, not bad, not bad. Freaking, I honestly thought Lazio was gone and done, but you know me, I jumped the gun freaking quicker than a tsunami wave. But oh man, I honestly thought it was a done deal. But I actually said this, and I had a tweet saved, which I was a little late to send out. It was kind of weeks that Lotito is not going to be easy to deal with Inter, and we know that he's gonna take the bank with him. So he wants 26 million. That's why I saw him sempre Inter. That's what they want for Lazzari, and that's what they'll probably get because he's still signed on the contract to 2024. They're not obligated to sell anybody. This is the difference right now between Milan and Lazio. They're not waiting till the end to sell players. Like Maricic is on a 1-year contract left next summer. It's done. They're already thinking about renewing him. Luis Felipe already contracting renewal. And that's one thing I'll give Lazio. It's not about a cheap shot to Milan. It's just the fact that Milan, I guess Donnarumma and Hakan are a different situation. But in the events that Frank Kessie now leaves this summer too, then it becomes
wild.
Then you start saying, okay, Maldini has to be blamed for something eventually. They made Champions League. They got their money. People are thinking, oh, they could have made 150 million. Not happening. Not in a pandemic era where it just happened at the wrong time for them. They made their money through Champions League. If they make it to the round of 16, people are going to say that Donnarumma wouldn't have made a difference because it's the same amount of money they made. But for Lazio, who doesn't have the money like other clubs, I think they prioritized very well not letting their players leave for free very frequently. I think Stefan de Vrij was maybe the last player I remember that we didn't sell for and we could have got value for him. But other than that, it's mostly I'll say Todd has been good at selling players, but by buying players, he's been really bad.
Yeah, and it's one of those things, Mario, that, you know, when these links came out a couple of days ago, you know, linking Lazzari to Inter, I kid you not, first thing I did when I woke up that morning, I think this was Wednesday morning, okay? And the first thing that I do as soon as I wake up, I check crypto prices and I check Inter news. Like those are before I even get out of bed. I pull out my phone, I check the crypto prices, I check the Inter news, and I see this report from Il Messaggero, you know, linking Lazzari to Inter. And within 5 seconds, I put it in a group chat that I'm in with Jerry, and I just said, "Good morning, Jerry," with the story linking Lazzari to Inter. And listen, and I was thinking a lot of what Jerry just said there. My thought on it was, I think Lazzari will be and probably should be sold because he doesn't fit in with Sarri's system. I think it makes sense to sell him and reinvest that money with players that fit in the system. But at the same time, even if they decide they should and need to sell him, the last team that Lotito is going to want to deal with is Inter. That would only be a last resort. And it's not impossible because, you know, the will of a player is important in transfers. And if Lazzari decided to make it really difficult and say, and he's not said this, but if he were to say, hey, there's only one team I want to play for and it's Inter, so make it happen with Inter. I mean, I remember, Mario, the way it went with Barella a couple summers ago, because, you know, when he was being sold by Cagliari, it took Inter a long time to agree with Cagliari, and Barella had agreed with Inter. And Cagliari wanted to sell him to Roma because they apparently got a better offer from Roma, but Barella didn't want to go to Roma, so they had to sell him to Inter. So I'm not saying we're there with Lazzari. I'm just giving you a hypothetical that's where this would have to go if he was going to come to Inter. But Mario, thank you for joining us, my friend. How are you?
I'm good. How's everything with you guys? No, Lazzari is a weird situation because Inter are not in a place where they could just spend freely, so it's going to have to come at a super discount. So that 25 million Suning and Auxilio and Marta are gonna be like, oh, we'll give you 7, 10. You know,
Loan with option.
Yeah, it's gonna be like it's a project to do a deal right now. If they need the depth at the right back position, which they do, they might have to make a compromise and spend a little bit more, but over a period of time, which for any team, that's, when you're selling a player, you want the money now. So Lotito's, he's going to be like, all right, we'll give me most of it up front, at the very least, the way I see it. But, like, when I saw it, the first thing I thought of was, wow, Jerry, I'm sorry, it's happening. Lazio's done for. Everyone's going to Inter now. Milinkovic-Savic for free. Luis Alberto for free.
Cheeto to be the fourth striker. Yeah, let's bring in Immobile to be the fourth striker.
Immobile's going to buy out his contract, come play for Inzaghi. What's up? It's going to be a great time. We're going to win Scudetto, Champions League, everything. It's a difficult situation, though. And as much as I wish that could happen, it's not. I like Lazzari. I think for Lazio, he was a very important player. He was always. Can he play on the left side too, or is he just right-sided?
He's right-sided. I've never seen him play on the left side, to be honest.
Yeah, I didn't think he was.
That's why I like Maricic much more compared to Lazzari.
Yeah,
I know that. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
I just know the upside that. Okay, I know Maricic was his first best season last year, but before the season, he had dental surgery, and it helped his back because he had back issues the season before, and I think he only played like in 16 games, but like he could play on the right side. He was an inverted wing back to the left side. He played center back. Like, where was Lazzari to play a center back? Where was he to play the left side? Maricic accommodated Lazzari so he can play in his natural role. You know what I mean? And so he's only one-way player. Can I see Lazzari play as a fullback? Not really. Can I see him play as a winger? Yes. I can see him in a 4-3-3 as a winger. I'm pretty sure. I guess the only thing that maybe holds him back is his crossing, and his ability to score sucks. So that's why they probably don't think him as a winger compared to wing back.
I mean, yeah. I honestly, I think he's got the characteristics to be a wing back, with the way he goes up the flanks explosively. I'm not sure. And listen, maybe if he tried to play winger, maybe it would go well. But based on what I've seen from him, he looks to me like a prototypical wing back.
No, you're right, man. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I wasn't sure where you were going to. Go ahead, Mario.
He was at Hellas Verona before, right?
No, he was at Spal.
No, Spal.
Spal, yeah. Spal. Was. I remember watching him a couple times for Spal. He was pretty good with them, from what I remember. Even going into before Lazio bought him. So he's a player that I like to watch. He's fast. He's got some pace. He's not afraid to go at defenders. So that's I love that.
Now, Mario, what do you think about there have been a handful of other potential right wingbacks linked to Inter? Di Marzio had a report a couple of nights ago on Sky, and the names that he did not mention Lazzari as one of the names. He mentioned Bellerin, Zappacosta, and Dumfries, who actually, out of those three, by far, I would want Dumfries if that's realistic. He plays for PSV. He plays wingback. So there's not any conversion in position. Like, this is not a natural fullback or a winger that they try to convert to wingback. He plays in a 3-5-2 with PSV. They've been playing that formation with Holland. He's had a good Euros so far. So and listen, I'm not going to pretend I watch a whole lot of Eredivisie. So mostly what I've seen of him is with the national team. So I don't want to be one of those guys who just falls in love with a player based on 3 games in the Euros, but I'm getting that a little bit with Dumfries. I've enjoyed what I've seen from him so far, so I would not mind bringing him in if that's realistic, but I don't know what the price tag is. Like, is it going to be a similar thing, like 20 to 25 million, like the same thing with Lazzari? Is that realistic, or can we get him for less?
I think he has a 15 million buyout clause.
I think you're right. 15 million, right? Oh, we got to pay that now.
If that's the case, the thing with buyout clauses is, as long as you meet the amount, they're forced to sell. So if they say,
as long as the player agrees,
as long as the player agrees. So if they say, we'll give you 2 million this year, 2 million next year, 4 million the following year, and the rest, was it 7 million or so in the final year, That's a possibility. You know, you're and they have to agree to that because it amounts to 15 million. If I'm correct on that one, I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
I'm not sure about that.
I'm not too sure, but I think that's another way you can get around those buyout clauses. It works in Football Manager all the time.
You know, I've never played that. Jerry, have you ever played football? Like I honestly, I feel a little FOMO. Like when I see people talking about it on these group chats that I'm in, but I'm in all these group chats with people who are 10, 15 years younger than me. Like, fuck, bro, I'm 36. What am I doing playing Football Manager? I don't have time for that nonsense. And Jerry, I think you're like a year. Do I? Jerry, I think you're like a year younger than me.
Too, man. I fucking have no time for Football Manager. Fuck
no,
that,
there's
man.
always time for Football Manager.
No, man. What's the whole point of it? Are you like a manager? Like you actually do things like in real football? Or you buy players. I like to play FIFA. When I play FIFA, I have no time to be the manager and buy players, wheel and deal. I skip all that. I go straight to playing the fucking game, and that's it. I have no time to be a manager. The first thing I would do is sell Marici, but other than that, yeah, fucking.
Jerry, you should sign. You should get football. Like Mario, does that go on a console, computer, all the above?
It's primarily a PC game. It's the best place to do it because you get the most features. They have like a mobile app that I used to play on, which it's really limited, and I think they have it on PlayStation and Xbox, but I wouldn't trust playing it on it really. It's on sale right now until like July 4th, I want to say, because I was thinking about buying it.
I still have no interest in playing it, but but hold on. But I want Jerry, even if you only play it for 10 minutes, I want you to get it, Jerry, and just sell Marici and then just be done with it. Like that's all I just want because then you could tweet about it. Like you can screenshot it. Like, oh, I just bought Football Manager and I sold without Marici. I'm done. Like my work here is done.
I think I should do that for FIFA.
You could do more for Lazio in 5 minutes on Football Manager than Iliitade has done in how many goddamn years has he been there now? You could do more than him in 5 minutes.
Oh my god, you guys are bad. I want to give a shout to Joseph from Forza Napoli podcast because we were talking about it the other day. In the event that you sell Hakimi, okay, you're not
it's going to happen.
No, I'm saying the event you do sell him, okay, it's 70 million.
Yeah.
Let's just say that it's not all 70 million upfront cash. Let's say if it was 20 or 30 cash, that's only 30 and you still need 70, okay? So you still need to sell another player in order to get the 100 million. And let's just say that the second deal doesn't recuperate the 100 million. Then you also have to reconsider this now. You got to buy players to bring back in to cover those positions. So it's not Inter just selling one player. I always thought, it's all fine. You saw.
But I got a couple follow-up questions because first of all, like, where did you get like 100 million? Where did that come from?
Well, they said that they need at least 100 million in order to like get the books.
I don't know. Listen, I'm not saying it's wrong, but I don't know if that's right. Like I don't know if one of the fucking Milanisti in our group chat told you it's like Jan. If Jan told you it's 100 million,
no,
I haven't actually heard that number.
Ask Mira, is that the number that you've been hearing too? I've always heard 100 million they need to make. I've always heard this number, 100 million. So let's just hypothetically say it's 100 million.
Mm-hmm. I think it's been around 100 million that they need to have not in player sales. It's like after everything because they have to sell Hakimi 80 million. Then you have to replace him 20 million. So that's 60 million. So you have to get to the 100 million in order to break even and be able to operate with no problem for next year.
Well, the only one thing that I know is pretty solid is that they have to cut the wage bill by about 20%. Mm-hmm. So I like because that's been reported by Sky, all the reliable people, is that they have to cut the wage bill around 20%. And like part of that is also, happening now, like kind of, in the act of God with Ericsson, because most of his wages are going to be covered by FIFA through insurance. And Çalhanoğlu is a little bit less expensive. So part of that is happening anyway. They're trying to get rid of Rajan Angolan. They're trying to get rid of Joao Mario, who's like a cockroach. I mean, you cannot get rid of that guy. I mean, and Mario, how long is his contract? because he's been under contract with Inter
I'll check now.
for 4 years. He must have had a 5-year deal then, because he's been under contract with Inter, I think, since 2017, and he's
4
still
years.
Somehow three
$2
more years. Oh, did they extend him?
Expires next summer.
Okay, so expires next summer. Okay. So yeah. so they and they're trying to get rid of him, and like Sporting Lisbon had him on loan last year, and they were smart enough not to pay $8 million to redeem him, because why would you pay even that much for a donkey like that? So they didn't pay, the $8 million to redeem him, and now, like, the last I saw, supposedly Besiktas in Turkey are interested, Nice are interested.
Okay.
So there's a Villarreal, I think, in Spain are supposedly interested, but Inter want 7 or 8 million for him. Nobody wants to pay more than 5 million for him. So he's going to be gone. I think Nainggolan is going to be gone. Who else are we thinking? I mean, I think there's a chance Perisic goes. I think there's, and I'm kind of hoping, that with the way he's played in the Euros, because he's been really good. Like, Croatia overall has looked a little bit old and tired, but Perisic has been really good in the Euros. So hopefully that inflates the value a little bit, and they can get something for him, maybe from a German club. And yeah, it's not just about the big sales, because obviously Hakimi is going to go, and I keep my fingers crossed that that's the only essential player that goes, but you have to get rid of some of this dead weight as well.
It's also dependent upon the academy, because every season you see all these names that they're like promising from the academy, but they're like really not good at the premier level, the top level. So those guys actually go for between like 2 and 3 million a pop sometimes. So you're tacking on an extra 10 to 20 million a lot of the times. And if you have a player that's like Esposito, who can, he's got that hype, he's got that high wage as it is, and if someone's willing to pay 5 to 10 million for him, that's basically an academy product that you just sold for.
And he's got that high wage
profit.
Because guess who his agent is?
Of course,
Raiola.
Why not? So, like, I think those will also help sort of lower the what's it called, the debt. Because they always make a killing off of it, and these guys they're not going to play for us. Like, I tell people all the time, like, they're good in the academy, sure. Once they come to the first level, they can't play at Serie C. They can't play at Serie B. Remember Francesco Bardi? Couldn't make it. He couldn't make it in Serie B. You remember, like, we have all these names, Longo, Aquafresca, all these people that were supposed to be the next. The next big thing for
and another one from a few years ago. I don't know what he's been up to, because he's still young, but I can remember, like, an Argentinian friend of mine used to tell me, oh my God, Colidio. Do you remember Facundo Colidio? Like, oh, this guy, he's all the talk in Argentina. He's going to be the next great Argentinian striker. This was like 3 years ago. What happened to that dude? I mean, I'm assuming he's been on loan. I don't know if he was ever sold outright, but I mean, because I can remember this Argentinian friend of mine who he covers football really closely. Like, he's not just talking out of his ass. He was like, oh, that guy's going to be like the next great Argentine talent. And I haven't heard anything from that kid since I watched him in the Primavera like 4 years ago.
So with him, he's I think he's on loan in Belgium right now at I don't even know, Century Des or something like that. He played 31 games, scored 2 goals. So
wow,
he can't make it in the Belgian league.
Can't score more than 31 games. He can't score more than twice. He's the Marici of the Belgian league.
21 years old. Okay, I understand.
No idea who the fuck this guy is.
Exactly.
No idea.
He's a former Primavera player with Inter, our Argentinian player that people were talking him up a few years ago.
So, like, a player like this, don't know. Jerry doesn't know about him. We know about him. He's talked up in the Inter circle or community, in the Argentinian community circle. Who can go for 5 million? Like 5 million right there. That's easy money. Yeah. If they like him that much, he's got promise. I've heard great things about him. The problem is, what's he going to do at the premier level or the senior level? I'm sorry. Every time.
Dude, this comment, can you please donate some of your hair to Jerry? If you're making donations, bro, I'll take some of that as well.
I got you guys.
I will take some of that as well.
He's giving me cheap
some
shots because
clippings.
I always call out Milan. I think he's a Milan fan, if I recall. I think he's after me.
But he doesn't hate you as much as Roma fans do. So huge shout out. We got Joseph. Brooklyn Rob has written in the chat. Brooklyn Rob, he's a friend of mine down here in South Florida. And like he obviously, you could tell by his avatar, he's a Juventino. But he and I unite because we love the Azzurri. Like we love the Italian national team. But he always gets annoyed because he watches our episodes and I start, going on and on about Inter, and this Juventino doesn't want to hear that. So I know he's looking forward to some Azzurri talk. What are we? We're less than 24 hours away from game time, my friends. 23 hours away.
I ask you guys a question. Are we sure that Paratici never got fired? Like, if he got fired, like Bernardeschi contract renewal. Are we sure that Paratici is not working for Tottenham and Juventus? Because
What?
you didn't hear it? He's renewing his contract
Yeah,
with
I saw
Juventus.
that.
What the fuck? I honestly thought going to Lazio would have made more sense for him because just a change of scenery, just something new, play under Sarri with a different caliber of players. No, that too. That's a very valid point. That's a valid point. And I think he would have played more under Sarri. I think Sarri respects him as a player. I think he was playing more when he was there for this one season. He just needs a change of scenery. I think there's a big mistake by Juve. Unless Juve plans to use him more now.
Allegri must like him. That's the only explanation.
Oh, if he's sitting on the bench, he needs to play more than 1,000 minutes this season, or it's a waste. Like he's just got to go. I don't know, man. I guess it's cheap. Like people think Juventus can spend 80 million, 100 million every summer, and at the moment that's not the case. So that could be a cost-efficient deal in order to like fill the gap. Who knows? No Italian team has the money to spend like they used to at the moment.
Right.
Only PSG somehow and Manchester City because they got their oil money coming in. I don't know. I guess what do you call it? That stupid thing. What's that?
Super League.
Yeah, that too. But the other
we needed
thing,
that, bro. We needed that. Super League.
The rule where you can't. Yeah, it's it doesn't apply to them. Financial fair play doesn't exist.
Yeah, and the scary thing about it is like financial fair play has I don't think they're enforcing it right now. Like it's basically gotten suspended with COVID, but most of the clubs still they can't be overspending most of these clubs because even if financial fair play isn't being enforced right now, you could still bankrupt yourself, theoretically. And that's supposedly that's why financial fair play exists in the first place. It's not a salary cap like we have in North American sports, but it's supposed to protect clubs from going bankrupt. The problem is they don't really apply the rules evenly to every club. And so even if we have no financial fair play right now, most clubs say, hey, eventually it's going to kick back in. And in the meantime, we can't bankrupt ourselves. That's not a concern for PSG and Man City with their oil money. And then even if financial fair play did exist right now, those clubs know the rules don't apply to them anyway. So they don't have any interest in following financial fair play when it exists. And when it doesn't, it makes no difference to them. They can keep spending freely, giving out massive salaries, giving out massive transfer fees, the way that PSG is doing and bringing on big contracts. And there's no consequence for those teams. And it's kind of it's a little bit, to me, hypocritical from a lot of fans. And I get it. The Super League idea, it was far from perfect. And they had a terrible PR company because the rollout for that, they just assumed every fan would be on board with the concept of it, was really bad planning on their part. But at the same time, you notice how many fans are protesting and complaining about Super League. And I don't see really enough complaints about what clubs like PSG and Manchester City do and get away with when other clubs just can't. It's fans need to realize there are a lot more things we can complain about than the European Super League, which actually might have helped some of these teams. But I don't think it's dead completely. I think we may see, another version of Super League pop up in the next couple of years. They just have to tweak it and do a much better job rolling it out than they tried to do a couple of months ago, because that was an absolute disaster.
Go ahead, Mario.
Yeah, we were hit by probably as bad as any other team has been hit, because put us into a banter era for almost 10 years because, they're like, oh, you can't spend. We got a limit. We follow the rules like a bunch of assholes. And then all of a sudden you have teams just doing whatever they want. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, you only lose a bench spot and you pay like a $25,000 fine, $250,000 fine. Like, okay, I'll take it. Like, what's the point? You know, like, I hope, I mean, if you really think about the Super League, it has its benefits, it has its drawbacks, but there's teams that could seriously have benefited from all the money. The Italian teams specifically, because they're finally
Italian
getting
and
that,
Spanish, but especially the Italian.
because you're finally getting that shared revenue that the Premier League's getting, that the Barcelona and the Barcelona, but like Real Madrid's able to get from the banks and all the backing that they have in Spain, the Champions League, this and that, winning the leagues. So I mean, it has its pros, and Suning might have had the right idea to kind of join it, because especially with their financial situation. But we don't, as the fans, we don't get the full picture. We don't get all the fine printed details that the owners and the companies and the clubs are able to see. Like, this is because they give them the model. They're like, this is what we see in 5 years for the Super League. Have you seen the model for 5 years in the Super League, 10 years that they plan to do? I haven't seen it.
No.
We haven't seen it. And we check the freaking Sky Sports, Twitter, everything every 5 seconds of the day, and it's not there for us. But why is Suning, on board with it? If we aren't on board with it, it's like there's something that we're not getting. And there's all the financial and the club perspective that we just don't see, and we won't see until 2-3 years down the line when it's in place and it's working.
I'm gonna miss the Super League. I was hoping to see Barcelona versus like Juventus 20 times in a season. The fact that no team doesn't get relegated, that's the dream, man.
Well, that's what it would have been in the 3-team Super League. Because you remember when everybody dropped out except for Barca, Real Madrid, and Juventus, and like, hey, like we still have a Super League. Wait, so do you have a Super League between 3 teams? You're just going to do a 3-team round robin for like 6 months? Good luck with that.
Bunch of morons. That's all. Like, you would think that you need competition. You need teams to like have to compete to stay up. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Perez, he hoofed that one up big time.
He did. Either of you guys worried at all about Austria tomorrow? We have knockout stages tomorrow, Euro 2020. I mean, to me, honestly, it would take a choke job by Italy not to win this game. They're the better team, and I did. And usually, if I lock in a bet 48 hours before a game, it's because I'm really excited about it, because I usually like to make my bets kind of last minute because I don't like to wait that long for the payoff, right? But I was looking yesterday, I'm like, oh man, Azzurri -1 against Austria. Like they should win this game by at least 1 goal tomorrow. And I am freaking pumped, man. And I start to notice it, Mario, that, when I listen to ESPN FC, when I watch, various sports channels down here in the States, and I listen to various podcasts, even when it's people who don't, cover soccer, and I start to hear them when I start to hear them put respect on the Azzurri and say, oh, watch out for Italy. Italy have been really good. They're in a great run of form. I mean, we know it. They're, 11 straight clean sheets, 30 matches unbeaten. Like, Mr. Mancini has these guys in incredible freaking form. And yeah, listen, I said it before the tournament started that I think that at the very least, this is a quarterfinal team. And I think tomorrow they punch their ticket to those quarterfinals.
I think so too. I mean, it's big time. I said it so many times. Mancini is going to put the best 11 out there, and he's just going to throw tactics out the window, so to speak. He's not going to be like, all right, I play a 3-5-2. Everyone's going to play a 3-5-2. He's like, we got a 4-3-3. We're going to put the best players in the 4-3-3. Hopefully we score 10 goals. That's it. It's like we're not only are we playing good, we're playing like effective. It's like fun to watch for once. It's not the boring Catenaccio. It's not Conte trying to force like someone to play right winger that clearly can't play as like a right wing back or whatever. It works, and semifinals is what the team should be at the very least, the way it's going. I mean, I think we don't have the favorable side for the bracket, which kind of
Yeah,
sucks.
we got so screwed. Like we would have been better off
Yeah.
coming in second place in the group. Like what kind of here you're first place in the group, 3 wins, 3 clean sheets. Here's your award.
Yeah.
You're in the bracket of death that you have to face then probably Belgium in the quarterfinals. And then what is it on the other side? I don't have it in front of me, but I was looking at it the other day. On the other side of the bracket, like Germany has like a really easy road, I think, right? As long as Germany doesn't slip on a banana peel, they basically automatically get into the finals.
Well, they got the Dutch too, eh?
Yeah, the Dutch are not bad. The Dutch have been good.
They have the Dutch. It's Denmark. There's the Dutch. There is who else? Wales, Germany. I don't have the bracket in front of me, but the path is much easier. But they do have to play Netherlands if they come across them. There's even possibility of Denmark. I think Denmark can go all the way to the finals. They got they can get to the semifinals at least. They have a clear path at least to the semis. Maybe not the finals, because if they were to get to the finals, it would have to be either Germany or Netherlands. If I get the bracket up, I'll tell you in a second. But
they have Denmark has Wales, then the winner of
actually that's a win.
Republic.
Yeah.
And
I think they'll
Germany.
probably beat Wales and probably lose to the Netherlands, and then Germany probably beats Germany. I think beats England.
Netherlands is weird. I'm not really.
They've impressed me. I mean, they've been for the last several years. I mean, they've kind of had a dip the way that Italy had a dip, and they didn't qualify for the last World Cup either. But they I mean, to me, listen, 3 games into this tournament, I thought they've been one of the better teams I've watched.
Fair. I mean, I did have some criticism on Dumfries because
bring it up now that he could potentially be an Inter player. Let me know.
I forgot about it before. I was like going on the whole thing. No, but like my concern is him in front of goal because he puts himself in these great positions as the right wing back. He cuts in, he finds the spot at the back post to win a header, take a shot, something like that, find a loose ball, and just doesn't do it.
Hey, Hakimi was doing the same thing, man. I think we're good.
I know. I mean, it's a good trait, but it's gonna kill us when he's missing constantly. If he was to come, it's like, Hakimi, great player, whatever. But we're not getting the Hakimi, we're getting a Dumfries, so
Well, maybe I personally I don't even think Dumfries is coming. Yeah, so it's just hypothetical.
If he comes and he's doing the shit where he's getting 4 or 5 chances a game and nothing's going in and we're losing points because he's missing these sitters, then it's a problem. That's when it becomes a problem. Not the fact that he's in a great position every time and 9 out of 10 times it goes in, but this is the one time, so it's that was my concern because I was watching a little bit of the first game or two. And I just didn't. It bothered me, but I'm like, it's a good problem to have.
By the way, Brooklyn Rob says, "Don't sleep on Portugal. They can beat Belgium." I mean, Belgium, I think, is vulnerable at the back, and it's one of those things. And Portugal has a really talented side, and included in that is Ronaldo. If he can get a couple of those patented PKs, Penaldo shows up, gets a goal from open play. Anything is possible there. And let me, I know Jerry saw this on our last episode. I'll share this with Mario as well. Brooklyn Rob made a futures bet before the tournament started on the Azzurri at plus 750 to win the Euro. I'm rooting for him. And he promised me a steak dinner if he wins that bet because he's going to be sitting on money bags if he wins Azzurri plus 750. So he's going to take me to prime 112 or something. So
love it.
Yeah.
9 out of 11.
Azzurri plus 750. Oh man,
that's popping.
That I still think the Azzurri can go the whole way.
I think so too.
I don't see why not. They did it in 2006. Who did we go through? Germany, France. Who was before Germany? We had to beat. I forgot who else.
Oh man, I can't even remember at this point.
Ukraine or something. I don't even freaking remember, to be honest. But you know what? This is a complete team, and the biggest decision come tomorrow is who do you start, Verratti or Locatelli? I'm for one Locatelli. I know that
Verratti. No, Verratti.
I'm with Locatelli. I go with Locatelli. Why break it why fix it if it ain't broken? If that's the line, like if that's the whole slogan, like it's working. It worked the first 2 games. They looked dominant. If it doesn't work, guess what you do? You go to your experienced midfielder off the bench and say, okay, it didn't work. We got to go back to plan B. Now we go to plan B. You don't fix it or take it out. Like I just don't like it, man. I think Locatelli is young. He's younger, not injury prone. Here's another thing, okay? Here's the biggest thing no one's looking at. Verratti is an injury prone freak.
Yeah, but if he's healthy now, you play him.
How do you know that?
More quality.
How do you know that?
He looks so good though in the what was our last match? Switzerland. He looks so good in that match.
And I get that, but he just came back from an injury. How often do players come back from an injury for their club team and play 90 minutes and continue right away?
So play him 65 minutes then. Here's the perfect solution, okay? Verratti's the better option. You start him, and then, if he's not completely fit, little fatigue around the hour mark, 60, 65 minutes, you take him off, then you put Locatelli on, and hopefully by that point you've got a 1 or a 2-0 lead already, because I think Verratti's the better option.
Man, I don't think he's...
I think as good as Verratti is, he demands the ball too much, whereas it's better to have Barella and Jorginho kind of pulling the strings a little bit more. Because with Locatelli, it allows those two to be a little bit more free and dictate the pace of the game alternatively, whereas if you have Verratti on the field, he's going to try to dictate the pace. And when he dictates the pace, it's not always the most effective way. I didn't see Verratti in the last game against Switzerland, but I saw the highlights, and everything from him looked okay. He was progressing the ball, moving the ball forward, breaking up the passes and all that. But I feel like it's just too much the Verratti show instead of the midfield collectively playing together. And I think the rhythm between the Locatelli, Barella, Jorginho works a little bit more fluidly than it does with Verratti, Barella, and Jorginho. I think it would be too many superstars sort of in the mix, if that makes sense.
So you're more balance, you're saying?
It's more balanced with Locatelli, I think.
Well, now can we agree though? And maybe Jerry doesn't, because we've talked about this before. What about at right wing? You go Chiesa or Berardi? Because I go Chiesa.
I go Berardi.
Now, and Jerry made the argument that you think that Berardi is better with Immobile, that he plays off Immobile a little bit better and sets him up. Speed and explosiveness. I like Chiesa in that spot. I just think he adds extra quality.
I think it comes down to who's a little bit more effective, and I think Berardi in that final third has been very effective for the national team. He's created 4 goals, I want to say, by himself, because he had the first game where he cut onto his right foot, he got the own goal. Then he had another goal in that game, and then the second game he created another couple goals or another goal or two. So
with Locatelli, the one down the wing where he crossed it in.
Yes, so I think Chiesa might be the more physical specimen, where he's all over the place. He's working his ass off. He's running. He's fast. But what is he actually doing that's being productive? I mean, he's being productive, obviously, but what exactly is it? What is he winning the ball for? Is he winning the ball and then turning it over, or is he winning the ball and creating that chance? Making a dribble and then scoring, like something like that. It all comes down to what is that work rate doing. And sure, Berardi might not track back as much. I think that's the issue with that. But it all comes down to what Mancini wants from that right wing spot. If Mancini is okay with sacrificing a little bit of defensive efforts for Berardi being a little more effective in the final third, he's going to go with Berardi. If he wants someone that's going to go 2 ways, 90 minutes or 75 minutes, whatever the case is, and just be annoying, you go with Chiesa. I mean, that's what he is.
He may dive and get you a couple penalty kicks, man.
I mean, if it works, I'm not complaining. I want what's best for the team. I'm not saying, don't start Chiesa, he fucking sucks, but it's just 2 different types of players. And I think Berardi he's been in there. He's been the primary option for Mancini. Mancini sees these guys day in, day out, on the field, off the field, in training. So he knows exactly how to communicate what he wants from that right wing position. And I think Berardi gives more of what Mancini wants right now, because he's playing excellent. Like when he cuts onto his right foot, I fall down on my desk. So because I don't expect it. So good things happen.
I think with Chiesa, he's more of a one-way player, I find, where he always cuts outside and uses his speed to get in behind the defense. And for some reason, he's effective at it. Like, probably bar down the best. But with Berardi, I think the fact is that he has more composure on the ball. He's more calm. What he does for Immobile is that he draws defenders towards him. And he's able to cut inside, and that's very important for Immobile because it allows him to get the ball. Whereas when you cut out wide and you cross, he's not that kind of player where he's able to get that kind of ball and head it. Like the way Berardi plays, it's suitable, and it allows the 4-3-3 to be successful with Immobile. Since he's been playing with Berardi, the two have been scoring on a consistent basis. I think in the last 3 or 4 games they played together, Immobile has a goal. Like that's a signal, man. Like it's just the way he plays. I think that he's able to cut around and cross the ball. He's able to go down the wing. He's able, like I just said, he's able to get inside the box. He distributes the ball much better, I find, and he gets it into areas where Immobile is. He doesn't force it with crosses only, and he doesn't play with his head down. I think that's the biggest thing, biggest thing.
But by the way, have you guys seen any update over the last couple of days about Chiellini's health? Like Brooklyn Rob is asking here because
it's going with the Cherby more and more. It's looking more Cherby and Bonucci, and I'll be the first to say it. After how Bastoni played on Sunday, I would have given.
He was really good. Yeah.
I would give it Bastoni over a Cherby, but I think the thing is, I think it's an elimination game, and I feel that.
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine either. Like I'm fine with the Cherby's experience. Like honestly, I'm good with that because
he looked really bad on Sunday at Cherby when he came in for 45 minutes. I would not. I'll be honest, he did not look good at all. Bastoni looked like a rock, and I would prefer going with Bastoni just because I don't believe in age and experience anymore. He got his game. He got it under his belt. Just like Locatelli got his first game, was okay. Second game, bang, just went off. These guys are professionals, okay? They play every day in Serie A. They play every day in the English league. Experience on the national level, on the Italian team. It's all bullshit, man. These guys are professionals, and they're ready to go. Don't think about he played 50 games, and that it does help for experience in the long run. If you want to look at it like that, sometimes it does help. It maybe keeps you calm, but overall, every game is a different game. It's one game that comes down to there's so many factors, but at the end of the day, I would prefer Bastoni over a Cherby. Another reason why is that a Cherby is not 100%. I think a lot of people forget that he played against Roma injured, and that kind of hurt his setback of recovering on time for the Azzurri, being fully fit. I don't think he's up to 100%. That's what I kind of noticed against Wales. He really screwed himself when he should have just taken himself out of the game versus not a significant game anymore. We'll see how it goes. I do love a Cherby. I think he's a rock in the back when he's at his best. But you do got two quality options. Again, I'm not being biased here. I'm being far from it, and I'm saying Bastoni is the better player over a Cherby. He just looks more fresher, more confident, and I think the biggest thing is that he's not injured. He's fully fit, and it makes a big difference for a defender.
I think also with Bastoni, I've always said this because even when he plays with Inter, it's his ability to be that left-footed Bonucci at the same time, where not only can Bonucci play those long, diagonal, direct balls to whoever it is, it's Insigne, Chiesa, Berardi, Mobile, or you're breaking the lines of the play or the attack. So rather than a Cherby who I don't think he's as good with hitting those long balls or playing out of pressure as Bastoni would be, because Bastoni, he's not afraid to take the ball, dribble forward, and then play a 40-yard, 50-yard ball across the whole field or straight up and turn a defensive moment into attack. Like, he's done it so many times with Inter, and the managers, they analyze this on the back end for hours. When the defense has the ball, what is the other team doing? Are they pressing up? Are they sleeping? So Mancini's looking, okay, if they're just going to sit back and move, Bastoni's balls aren't as effective because he's going to kick it, they're going to win the ball, come back, right? That's mostly what happens unless there's an issue or a miss-hit or whatever. That's not even like put into the equation all the time. But who's going to be the most effective player? Do you want Acerbi to just get the ball to his feet, find the midfield? Do you want Bastoni to get the ball to his feet and play long? Two different types of systems right there, and it all depends on the other team also. So, it's all situational, and maybe Mancini feels more comfortable with the experience. I don't know 100% if that's the case, because, I mean, sure, he goes with Chiellini, Bonucci, the most experienced players on the field, but at the same time, Chiellini is a maybe. So now he has to choose who's a better player for this. It might be Bastoni, but he might also just want to play it safe and go with Acerbi. Who knows?
By the way, I like this question that came in from Joseph on the number 9 position. Jerry, who do you think should start, Immobile or Belotti, and why is it Immobile? Now, bro, any of Jerry's biases aside, 1,000% it's Immobile. I mean, Belotti did not impress me against Wales. I mean, Immobile seems to have gotten over, the issues that he had finishing in front, for the most part. He's gotten over the issues that he had finishing in front of goal with the Azzurri shirt on. Belotti has not gotten over that. I mean, he had a couple of makeable chances that he whiffed on. And I think Immobile does a little bit more even off the ball as well. They're both very good off the ball. They're well-rounded strikers. But to me, Immobile adds more. I trust him more to finish in front of net at this point. So 1,000,000%, it's Cheeto who's got to start.
I'm going to be – so Rob Pizzola, our good friend, said a good point. Look at the lineup that Belotti had to play with compared to what Immobile had to play in the first 2 games. You got a guy who got the best service of Nicolo Barella, Locatelli, and Jorginho in the midfield. He got the best back 4. He had Spinazzola playing alongside Emerson. So he had the wingers of Insigne and he had Berardi. So I don't think the service was great overall.
He still had some chances,
but he did have the chances. That's true. He should have done better with his chances. At this point, I think it's a Belotti that maybe has no confidence. And I was reading that he only scored 2 goals in the last 10 or 15 games with Torino, which is not good, man, going into the Euros. And I don't care what anybody says. That confidence level hinders on you because, you're going into a tournament where you haven't scored, and all of a sudden it's in the back of your head as a striker. Immobile, like I said before the tournament, I said it all year, don't underestimate Immobile because he's a different player under Mancini. I think a lot of people forget he played under Ventura, and I wrote a piece, actually, I haven't released it yet, about how Mancini has taken this team to another level. And under Ventura, it was really bad. This is a guy who played Insigne in the goddamn midfield, okay? There are alarm bells here. Come on, guys. As much as we want to criticize Immobile not scoring goals, it was a team that was just not designed properly, and there were a lot of flaws to it. To just say that. Yeah. You go to Mancini, he takes over, 2016 of the summer, turns this team in 4 years from bronze to gold, and we got players who are playing admirably. Everyone's stepping up in roles. So
it was more recently than that, by the way, that he took over.
Oh, so I don't even know. 2017, maybe, actually. Yeah, 2017, actually. So here's the thing I see with Immobile compared to Belotti. Immobile's hold-up play is 10 times better. 10 times better. He allows players to get back, to advance forward and get into the play. Much better than Belotti does. I think Immobile has a better shot from out wide on target. He's better in the box, personally. I think he's gotten way better in playing up front in a 3-man forward, like from forward. But even when he doesn't score, it's the little things he does, his intensity. I like the way he drops back and helps the defense. He cuts off passes. People don't look at that stuff. That stuff makes a big difference. If he's able to be the last person back, cut a pass off, he allows to create a counterattack. There's just so many things that he does that I don't see from Belotti. He kind of stays up top and waits for the play to be built. I don't see him ever always coming back in the fold. Maybe it's just me, but and lastly, Immobile is scoring goals.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That's all I need to see. It's all I need to know.
He's scoring goals. People can say that they're Cardi poach goals or they're shots from out wide, from out and lucky goal because the goalkeeper got a hand on it and he scored. Regardless, the shot was hard. The shot's placed properly. It's out of reach for the goalkeeper. He can't get a full grip on it. He's doing his job, Immobile, and he's confident. I think that's the most important. We got a confident striker, which we probably haven't seen in so long. The factors are all there. I don't see Belotti ever appearing in a game this summer in this tournament again. Immobile is going to be the guy.
Unless it's garbage time as a sub. Yeah. He's not going to start. He's not going to start another game.
Immobile is going the whole way.
Has Immobile ever played for Palermo?
I wish. I don't think so, right?
No,
he does not.
I was gonna say he played for.
So in other words, Mario doesn't rate him. If he's never played for Palermo, then Mario does not rate him.
No, it's not that I don't rate him. It's that we have a less of a chance of winning if Belotti's on the bench and Immobile is on the field. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Fair enough.
Belotti played with Palermo?
What do you mean? No. He was a freaking top goal scorer with Palermo.
I don't know the whole past, man. I don't preach as the guru, Mr. I know everything. I speak up when I don't.
Palermo.
Okay.
He came up with Palermo, and he had like his final year with Palermo was like it was good, and then he ended up leaving for was it Torino, or was there something?
Yeah, I think it was Torino.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
was reading that if Verratti plays, does the formation change in order to suit him, or does it stay with the 4-3-3? I was reading
I think it stays with 4-3-3.
Stays with 4-3-3. Okay.
What would it change to?
Oh, I think
allegedly.
I forgot what it was. I was reading it online. Like a 4-3 wouldn't be a 4-3-1-2. That's for sure. I don't even remember, but it was another formation they were talking about.
4-3-2-1.
Maybe 2-1. Yeah, like maybe that.
Oh, the Beal Christmas tree.
Yeah, like it was something different because to suit him. And I don't think we've been playing with Verratti for a while, but actually we always been playing with a 4-3-3 with him when he was available?
Yeah, under Mancini, yeah, we've been playing with a
4-3-3. He doesn't change.
Yeah, he doesn't change.
It works.
Do you think this team is suited for a 3-5-2 in a way? A little bit.
They are, but the manager's not. Like I think the personnel are because you've got center backs who can play it. You know, you have midfielders who can play it. Your top striker plays in a strike partnership, but still, if it doesn't suit the manager, then it's a square peg in a round hole.
Maybe exactly. It kind of is like a 3-5-2 when they attack, though, because of how high the fullbacks go. So when true. It is, I think on the attack it is a 3-5-2 because the overload on the wings. Where Spinazzola overlaps and I believe Emerson overlaps too because they are fullbacks. Sorry, they are wingbacks in a way. Mm-hmm. So it allows them to come back and help the defense. So I've noticed that, and I hate when people say that he taken this idea from Mancini stealing ideas from what's his name there at
from
Liverpool.
Klopp at Liverpool.
Yeah, stupid.
I saw, dude. It was that to me.
Stupid.
I read about half of that article, and I realized I've lost enough brain cells today just drinking beers. Like I don't need to indulge in this entire piece. It was bad.
Where did Klopp get that idea from? He didn't make it himself. I'll tell you.
No, he got it from somewhere. Yeah.
No one makes ideas anymore.
You evolve other people's ideas. Yeah.
You evolve it.
the 3-4-3 and the 3-5-2 was big in like the 80s, the 90s. They're just reinventing the wheel at this point. It's it's doing it, but instead of playing strictly a 3-4-3 or a 3-5-2, it's shaping into the 4-3-3 is shaping into the 3-5-2, which could shape into something else. Depending on how the game flow is. I mean, it's just combining ideas. It's not really like Klopp came up with this. Oh, Pep Guardiola came up with this. I mean, it's all just. It's all just.
I find it clickbait, man. I just find it clickbait. That's all I find it for, man.
Totally.
Like, you know what? He's being inventive, and I don't remember the last Italian manager we had that was actually thinking outside the box, being more creative on the attack, allowing the defense to come back and be more assertive. Like, there's just a different approach to this team. I don't remember how most Italian managers play. I remember
a lot more defensive. I mean, a lot. I mean,
2006 was the most defensive. Oh my god.
Yeah. I remember going as far back to like 90 and 94, and in 94 they played really defensive, even though Arrigo Sacchi was the manager, who was Mr. Champagne football from his time at Milan. But I guess he just didn't have enough time with those players to really institute his tactics. So they played the usual defensive counterattack Italian football, even though they had a manager who loved to press high and attack. Yep. So that's kind of been the DNA of Italian football for much longer than I've been around. And Mancini is actually, and listen, I'm fine with whatever gets results. Like I'm more accustomed to, as a longtime Azzurri fan and Serie A fan, I'm more accustomed to watching, more defensive, counterattacking, even Catenaccio back in the day. That's what I'm more accustomed to. I know most fans are preferential to attacking football, and Mancini is actually changing the DNA towards that. And I haven't seen that DNA change in my lifetime, and he's done it in a very short amount of time.
Mancini's a good manager. He just wants to put the best players out there and win games. It's kind of counterintuitive for him, because when he was at Inter, he preferred the defensive midfielders. Like, if you remember when he was first managing, he bought players. I mean, he inherited and bought like Cambiasso, Zanetti, defensive midfielder, Patrick Vieira, just like he had like 5 center defensive mids that he just
I remember
used at the same time, and it's just like, what? Like, all they're doing is buying defensive mids. Like, you need a forward, you need a right winger. Why you buy the defensive mid? Why do we have 5 defensive mids now? And now all of a sudden he goes to the national team and he's playing attacking, left and right attacking, straight, just direct. Like, he's not fucking around. He wants to win, and this is what I like to see. I want to see teams that play to win. I don't like the teams that just sit back and try to. I mean, it's you kind of just you gotta give up on the tactical aspect. Sometimes you be like, we need to go out and win. Do whatever it takes. Just attack. Keep the ball and just press high. Win the ball in their third. It's modern football. It's what it is. I mean, Mancini adapts to it.
Well, listen, guys, I got to wrap it up in a couple minutes. I want to give you guys a chance to plug your work, to plug where they can find you. Mario, we'll start with you. You do an awesome job, of course, interworldwide. So let people know where they can find you on social media, everything you're working on.
I actually haven't been podcasting much with them because I've just been stupid busy lately. But on Twitter, I'm Mario Sweatshirt. Talk a lot of shit, say some stupid things, but it's all fun and games. Interworldwide, check us out on the podcast. Christian and Anthony usually chop it up and talk some shit. We talk about, I think they're talking about like the Copa America a lot now. So
nice.
That, they definitely have some good stuff into that.
Well, what about you, Jerry? I know you mentioned you're working on a piece that hasn't come out yet. Now, you have been on vacation this past week. You've been on holiday, but have you put anything out? Because still, every time you say you're taking time off and you're not writing, I see you pumping out links every day. So it's bullshit. Like, you're always working on something.
Always.
Yeah, I don't know how to relax. That's my fucking problem.
I get the same problem, man. It's rough.
It's so bad, man. I think I'd take a week off. I wish. I'm too addicted to Twitter. I need to get I need the world to come back to normal where things are open in Canada, where I'm not stuck on this stupid thing.
Got to come to Florida, bro. Come down to Florida. Everything's open.
Twitter. I got Twitter over my mind. I get too worried about like Twitter. Like I have this like psychological problem where like I worry too much about people liking my tweets and thinking about what they think about my stuff. It's a mental thing though. It's so stupid and bad because it's
Jerry,
a barrier
who cares? You write it. It's yours. You put it out there for a reason because you believe in it. Who the fuck cares what half the people talking shit are freaking what do they call it, burner accounts.
Yeah, it's the same thing I say. Exact same thing I say. Yeah. You usually, yeah.
You remember the ScreenYard article I put out back in the day, like 8 months ago, where everyone shit on it? I don't care. You think I give a fuck?
I remember that. That was one of the worst articles I've ever read, bro. I'm just fucking with you. I'm just fucking with you.
See,
it's just a mental thing for me. I thought it is. It's always been like ever since I was young, where I always contemplate. I always think maybe because I was always bullied in high school, where people will always pick on me, and I always just by myself, and I always doubt myself and what I do, and it's just something in the back of my head.
Jerry, I don't know. You put out quality work. It's
you do.
Bullshit. And
people have so much fun interacting with you. Yeah. I mean, dude, every time I see the bonsai tree or the double middle fingers from you in my timeline, it just makes me smile. And I know I'm not the only one. I know Mario agrees with me.
Eat it up.
Dozens of people, if not hundreds, agree. When you get the double middle fingers and the bonsai trees in your timeline, I smile, man.
The best.
I appreciate that. It's not about getting people to like me and then feel bad for me. It's not it. I'm just very open because I find that what do you call it? Being abused and like I don't know what the right word, like just mental abuse. It's not good, and I think a lot of people don't open up to it and tell how they feel, what has happened in their past. I'm very open about it, but yeah, it's just a side topic. Which
is good because you can help other people because they know that there are other people dealing with it. I think that's important, like to let people know they're not alone. And if you have certain feelings, other people have those feelings, and it's it's not unique to you, and that you can deal with it together. So I think it's great that you do that. Honestly,
yeah, definitely.
Oh, being bullied. That's it. That's the word. Fuck.
Yeah. No, you put out good stuff, and people like you, Jerry. I mean, if you read every comment and saw only the bad comments, you wouldn't continue doing this, but you get a lot of love out there.
Absolutely.
Rob's right. It is the society we live in. That's why I try to be more I could be bad too at times, but it's not because I like to call out people. It's because the big guys try to take advantage of the small guys, aka fraud Fabrizio Romano. I'll call it right now.
The Fraudizio.
He's the only guy on Twitter I will continue to call out. I was a little harsh on Adam Digby. I just can't handle his takes. I should never call him an idiot, but I do agree with that. That's kind of bad.
That's okay.
I just think these guys just take advantage of people. Like half their tweet says, "Hey, sign up to my pod today, 50% off," and it's like, okay, that's great. We've seen the last 25 tweets that you want us to like pay for your subscription. You can take our money, but like there are other things that like you want to talk about other than, okay, I'm starting this new gig, and it's him and someone else. I won't say names, but you know who it is, him and his loved one. But like they just talk about, hey, sign today, sign today, sign today, sign today. Say it today, and it's like, okay, I get it, but there's more things to life than just like journalism's not as strong as it used to be. I tell everybody, man, like I work for Frito-Lay and I'm happy at times. As much as I hate my job, I have stability.
Jerry, like even I'm a journalist. Even I'm a journalist.
That's scary. That's frightening for the whole profession.
I'm considered a journalist. I write articles every now and then. I do the podcast. Like everyone's a fucking journalist.
Yep.
It's true. But at the end of the day, I just don't like Fabrizio Romano because he steals people's work. And I know that a lot of people do what he does, but but the fact is that he does it on a consistent basis. He never sources where he gets his stuff. I'm just saying, man, like, how about you source your stuff? Like, if you're going to do it. And I hate when other people say, yo, well, what about Nicolo and that guy and that guy? I don't give a shit about other people. Romano has built this big platform and how did he get there? And I just think that I know people are gonna say let it be. He's not, it's got nothing to do with you, but I'll vouch for people who work hard on this platform and actually have a job and need to make a living and need to survive off it, right? So
Amen.
I don't know. That's just me though. I know it's a bad look sometimes when you and the guy blocked me. The guy blocked me on Twitter
and you know what? Honestly, to get blocked by an account that big, that's kind of a badge of honor because that shows you got under his skin, right? To the point where he thought, I need to keep this person off my timeline. So I don't know, man. Like you can honestly, that's, you know, depending on how you look at it, it's either a bad thing or a good thing. Maybe look at it as a good thing.
Well, I called him out. Sorry, go ahead.
I got blocked by Adam Levine. So, you know.
Really?
I'm going yeah.
Hold on. Do you mean the real Adam Levine or the Italian lookalike of Adam Levine?
I don't want to name names here, but you may or may not be.
You know, I try to stay on his good side because I enjoy Tancredi in my timeline because Tancredi's ridiculous Google Translate English tweets, they put smiles on my faces, and if that dude ever blocks me, Twitter will not be the same. So I need to stay on his good side because if I can't read his tweets, there's no point being on Twitter.
I said he looked like Adam Levine, and I got blocked.
He's very sensitive about that.
That's literally what I said.
I called him Toucan Sam.
I didn't even make fun of him. I was just like, "Hey, thanks for the update, Adam Levine," and you blocked me.
Oh my god!
No, that's the worst.
And he's the one who tweeted about it because he tweeted that like during the Super Bowl like 2-3 years ago. He's the one who tweeted that he slept with a woman because she thought he looked like Adam Levine, which is absurd. He's the one who tweeted that out, and yet he's blocking you.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's not like I'm saying he's looking like Genghis Khan out here, you know, like.
Oh my god.
I'm doing the man of service.
My god.
Oh man. Well.
Digby blocked me. Don't worry. Romano blocked me because I sent out the tweet of him cheating on an exam, and I did it right after Padula. Alfredo Padula called him out. He said, "White smoke. Some people don't cite other people," meaning he was referring to Romano. And right away, I referenced Romano, and then he blocked me. And I was like, "Whoa!" If you're blocking me that quick to be referenced, that means you're guilty. That's all I can say.
Well, and like I've noticed, and I'm like I'm one of like the least confrontational people on Twitter, but like sometimes people will block me and block people for the most trivial things. Like I can remember a couple months ago, actually at IFTV of all people, they didn't block me, but it was one of the people in the comments. Like IFTV put out this tweet. This was, I guess, right after it was very obvious that Inter were going to win the Scudetto. I don't think it was official yet at that point, but, we knew it was happening. And they tweeted out something about how, like, within 3 years or 4 years, they went from missing Champions League and then, in Champions League for 3 years, Scudetto. It was like praising the project. And then one of the comments was from a Napoli fan who was like, oh, like, you shouldn't praise Inter for spending all this money. You should be praising Napoli, who have zero debt. And then all I did was I just responded to that guy and literally these words. I just said, enjoy your balance sheet. That's all I said.
Was it a Napoli fan?
And then he blocked me. It was a Napoli fan. I just wrote to him because I'm here celebrating a Scudetto. He hasn't won a Scudetto since probably before this dweeb was born because this was probably like a kid who wasn't even born in 1990 when they won their last Scudetto. So I just write to him. Ooh, I don't think – no, Phil wouldn't have blocked me. He would have argued with me all night. So
Phil, I blocked him.
Yeah.
No.
Well, listen, Ed.
I couldn't handle people calling other people peasants anymore. I was just like, that's kind of like it gets annoying, man. I don't call people peasants. It's just something I don't like, man. Well, even IFTV, I actually took the decency to apologize to them a while ago, just because I kind of went a little extreme on them. No, I do agree with people that a lot of
they're nice guys, though. Is my thing. It's like even if like not all of the tweets they put out are like completely accurate or whatever, but they seem like genuinely nice dudes to me. IFTV, so I don't have any problem.
I reached out to them and kind of like said like I don't even call them out anymore. What I do think that IFTV should start doing is acknowledging when their tweets are are false or it's wrong and say we screwed up, and they should take it down right away. Example, the leaked tweet when he spoke about Italy and they quoted it wrong. I think and my wife always says when you do an article, like when you take the conversion like from English to like Italian to English, she's like, make sure that when you translate it, Google doesn't always translate it properly. So just follow up that you're putting the words right, because at the end of the day, you're putting that person out of context. It's not just you, but even the person and then it looks bad, especially when you have 200K followers. I think that's the only thing they need to be more open-minded about. That's the only thing. When they cite their stuff, it just has to be accurate, especially when you're big. When you get to 200K followers, that's a lot of people who's following you. It's not that you have a 200 people count now. And you said this to me many times, Alex, where like when you start to grow bigger, a lot more people look at you and you have a lot of eyes on you. So you represent yourself, right?
Yeah, well, and it's a weird thing, like the way that people like judge Twitter accounts, because like, listen, I'm not a journalist, right? Like, I've done, content and radio shows and stuff for half of my life. And I've got the blue check mark, the verification, but that doesn't mean like people think that if you have a blue check mark on Twitter, then that means you're some serious account. Like, listen, sometimes I'll banter, sometimes I'll talk shit, and I'll say something to like an opposing fan, and I'm very respectful. I don't personally attack anybody. Sometimes I banter back and forth, and I've had people write to me like, "Oh, like why does this clown have a blue check mark?" Like, dude, it's not like something you get as like a Congressional Medal of Honor or something. It's like, it is what it is, man. Well, I see. I think I see Mario. Mario had to dip. I've got to dip as well.
Yeah, it's okay. So I think you guys are just mad that Insigne is going to join Lazio. Wink, wink.
Here we go.
He's
Jerry,
never going to join, man.
No, I don't think so. I think he's happy where he is, first and foremost. I don't see him leaving Napoli unless they force him out, and why would they? So, Jerry, great stuff as always, my friend. We'll talk again soon. By the way, can I bully you, Jerry, into doing a watch along live with the Italy? I know you've told me you don't like doing these, but can I bully you into it?
I'm forced to I don't think anyone's gonna watch us during the.
A few people watched us during the Inter Juventus one though.
Like, no one gives a fuck about Serie A, man. This is the World Cup. Like, this is Euro. I think more people would watch us doing this. You know what? If do a vote, okay? Do a vote on Twitter. And if we get a good amount of people voting yes and they'll watch it, then sure. But that has to be like, I'm gonna be sweating balls, man. Like, I'm gonna be so nervous while I'm watching. We'll get a couple people on with us, and if you have to like sweat and be nervous, we'll just watch you react. You don't even have to say anything. I'll have a couple of other people on. We'll talk, and then we'll watch Jerry react. So man. Well, good stuff as always. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We appreciate all the commenters. Make sure you subscribe to our podcast, the audio version of it, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, wherever you get your pods. Search Calcio Connection. Hit subscribe. Leave us a 5-star rating if you can. A nice review if you have time. The 5-star rating takes like 2 seconds. Just hit the 5 stars and go along with your day. It's really a help to us. And for those listening to the audio version, keep in mind you can get us on YouTube as well. You can watch us live when we stream, or you can watch the replays on YouTube afterwards. We will talk to you guys again next time on another episode of the Calcio Connection podcast. Ciao.